It seems when one is either, kind of tarnishing the second Baker era, the Colin Baker era of Doctor Who, or praising it as understated genius, it is Vengeance of Varos, which is brought up, both in the respect of, oh, it's way too violent, and also in the respect of, actually was trying to critique the media landscape around it. Like I think the later Happiness Patrol, some perceive it as a attack on the Thatcher era, not necessarily the specific political party, but sort of where that sort of bread and circuses culture, which was sort of actively encouraged by that administrate by that black political platform. I don't think calling it administration is the right term. I think it's a bit yank, but yeah, it's a really interesting production. I think Syl is one of the most vile and therefore, I guess, in a way, entertaining Doctor Who villains of all time. Uh, Very controversial for the acid bath scene, as it's known, in the second episode, near the start of it, of two. Um, Partly it's poorly edited, and so people think the Doctor pushes the chap into the acid bath, but actually the other chap, the other henchman, for whatever reason, pulls him in. I think Clever Dick Films, he's actually done an edit displaying this in a much clearer way, just to demonstrate, one, that he really did pull him in, and two, that it's a real botched job, and it's a shame that someone got paid for that shitty work, frankly. In any instance, I think Vengeance of Virus is a lot of fun, if nothing else. I think it's an attempt to critique that sort of violent television, bread and circuses environment of the 1980s. However, there were those who were accusing Doctor Who of becoming that very thing, and so I don't know if it was meant to be sort of a meta commentary on the show itself. If it is, I think it's possibly somewhat superficial. In the eyes of the Doctor Who creators, writers, Saywood and the like, they probably didn't perceive Doctor Who as being nearly as violent as some of the television that was around at the time, particularly American imports, and or stuff like was going on in Hollywood at the time, slasher films. But that being said, you have to remember, in programs like, well, it's the A-Team, people die in the A-Team, but I think they try to establish that the A-Team themselves never kill anybody, which is kind of ridiculous to think about, but I guess they're pacifistic mercenaries. In any instance, yeah, like Vengeance and Varos, I don't think it's a major classic, personally, although I do think it's one of the top tier entries of the Six Doctors era, which might say a little bit more about the overall quality of his era. I mean, it's not a very long era, you have to give him some leeway here, although this doesn't have the trappings of a top tier serial. We just don't have that much else to work with, do we? It peaks of Revelation of the Daleks, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, we'll get to that.